Hey, it's Jess Salguero, and you're listening to How Are You Now, the toughest podcast in Letterkenny.
Oh yeah, one of our favorite hockey-related punk bands out of the Pennsylvania area, that area over there in the East Coast,
the other coast,
that other coast that we're at. Tiara,
hey,
got a question for you. It's very important that I ask this.
All right.
How are you now?
Good and you?
Oh, deadly. No, I'm not deadly.
No, we're all surviving.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that was a little Light the Lamp. I
really like them.
Yeah, they're good. They're fun. They're good. Really good. They're great fucking guys. So
I hope once all of this is over, some of these bands that we've gotten to listen to these last couple seasons get to come over to this side of the country, because a lot of them are East Coast bands. I've noticed that we've been getting
some Canada bands,
Canadian
as well.
ones, yeah.
So as we do a little pre-show stuff, hope number one, we hope everybody's staying safe, staying home, trying to stay sane.
Even if there isn't a stay home order in your state, stay home.
Yeah, agreed.
Unless you absolutely have to. You may not know how terrible this is yet, but it's going to hit your area, and it's scary in Seattle. And we are we're being told that we're doing a good job and that our numbers are staying low, but it's still terrifying when it's people you know and people you love.
Exactly.
So don't let it get to that. If it's not near you yet, take charge now, and this shit's not a joke.
Yeah.
No matter how old you are.
True. Let's see. Also, in fact, all our bands that we play, they are all independent bands. If you search through our archives, you will find pretty much every place you can to download, listen to their music, and maybe give them money.
Oh yeah.
Most of these folks are on Bandcamp, so check them out. If you like them, buy their stuff.
Yeah, listen to them on our Spotify playlist, and that should link you to them.
Yeah,
in some cases, at
some
least.
way, shape, or form. But we all have our show notes with where you can find their stuff. Also, if you want to give money to us, we've got our Patreon, patreon.com/howareyounowpod. You can get in as low as $1 a month for possibly even getting on the show at some point if that's what you're into. I think we're just about booked for everything for season 8. We're completely booked for this season.
We are booked up until new episodes arrive, probably sometime this summer.
Maybe so.
Theoretically.
Hopefully. Also, we have now 2, I think, entries for our cosplay contest.
Awesome.
And I want more. So
please,
howareyounowpod.com/cosplay. And there's rules for submissions. So please do so. Also, like I said, independent bands, we're looking for more. If you are in an independent band
of any kind,
and if you like the Letterkennys, send us some information about yourself and we will most likely get you on. Also, if you would like to check in with us and tell us how you're doing, tell us dad jokes,
jokes.
Questions about episodes, or, very, very personal stuff that you want to know about us. TR is willing to share everything.
I have been said that I overshare.
Speaking of which, you've got a couple of voicemails.
Oh God. Okay.
Hey guys, it's Renee. I had a question for Tiara. I was curious, do you know how to make holy water? Well, it's pretty easy. You just boil the hell out of it. Get it?
Oh, Renee, I love you.
And he's got this one too.
Hey, it's Renee again. I had a question for Tiara. I was curious, while she's teaching, for kids, during nap time, if a kid, refuses to go to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
Shit. Oh, that would have been perfect when I was a preschool teacher. Okay. I love dad jokes. I love them. The cornier, the better, as long as I understand them, which 99% of the time I do. I love them. I love silly.
Yeah.
That's my sanity in, days when I'm just trying to survive myself. Like, I love things that just make me giggle for ridiculous reasons.
Also,
that's why I married this guy.
just look at me.
Oh,
also, Renee, his pupper, Portia, is at current moment. This is a Sunday. Just found out today that his pupper Portia is not doing well. And so if, I don't know how it will be when this releases, hopefully Portia will be better.
Hopefully.
But yeah,
we're going to reach out to him.
Real thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And love for our buddy Renee. So he's a good fucking guy.
Definitely.
So as I said before, our music this week is by Light the Lamp, and we have our, second time guest, Jake Whitco. Jake, how are you now?
Oh, good, and you?
Oh, not so bad.
Nice.
I got it right this time. Let's go.
Hey, it takes some time for some of us to get around. So, I still screw it up from time to time. So it happens. So tell us, I know it's been a few months since you were on. So why don't you kind of tell us about what yourself and what you do, and your any special projects you got going on?
If you guys don't remember me from last time, my name's Jake. I'm the founder of a fun charity event called Wrestlethon, where myself and a bunch of friends and volunteers play wrestling games from the Nintendo all the way to the PS4 during a duration of time. Usually it's a couple days. Hopefully, maybe this time next or in a couple months, it'll be a week of different people streaming the games. But we stream them all on Twitch to raise donations for a group called Child's Play Charity. They donate toys and games to pediatric wings of hospitals, children's hospitals, and domestic abuse shelters all over the world. We've raised over $18,000 for them over the course of 6 events. We're trying to get into Wrestlethon 7 here or Wrestlethon 2020. But as you guys know, and everyone knows out there, the 2020 has some other ideas for everyone.
A little bit.
We're being safe. We haven't chosen an exact date yet. We were shooting for early June. That still may happen. We're trying to be as safe as possible, so we'll keep everyone updated on that. We will announce a date. If you follow us on twitter.com/Wrestlethon, we'll give everyone a heads up what's going on with that. We do have some announcements we can make about it. We've partnered with a local comic book and game shop called The Adventure Begins. They're amazing. They're in Conroe, Texas. You can find them on Facebook. The Adventure Begins. They have a online site, but we will be doing the entire event from their store. Nice. And it's gorgeous. And they have all kinds of different tabletop games, card games, board games, like any comic you can think of. They'll hold a tab for you, so they'll pull anything you want. They're awesome comic shop, and we're really happy to be working with them on this. Other than that, I mean, I've been working from home, trying to make sure that all of the professors at the university I work at are up to date with their online capabilities for remote learning. So that's a 12-hour-a-day job pretty much right now. Not to take away from any of the actual heroes out there, teachers, professors, nurses, doctors, delivery drivers, like all of you guys are doing amazing stuff. I'm just literally sitting at a computer trying to edit, trying to help everyone. So I'm grateful that I still have a job, but yes, they are very tiring times right now, trying to make sure everyone can still learn and be informed. So
yeah, I'm happy to see that our educational system is trying to maintain some sort of semblance of teaching.
I have to refrain from talking about a lot of my feelings around that because of the nature of what part of education I work in.
Yeah. I know.
Because we're being overlooked a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, but I will say the good thing about this is hopefully they're now looking deeper into saying, okay, here's what we can do. Here's what we should have done.
Our union, Sent a strongly worded email to several government agencies recently, so we'll see what happens.
And going back, Jake, to what you were saying about the comic book stores, a lot of them are still working. They just don't have their doors open.
Yes.
You can place orders with it. And now one thing, TKO, which is a comic producer, I found out that I don't know how long they're doing this for, but if you're looking to order one of their products, like one of the products that I ordered is called Sarah by Garth Ennis, about a Russian sniper, woman sniper.
Oh, okay.
And if
Which we were looking for before all this happened, but
and so I had an order in through my comic shop. They were going to get in, call me, and I was going to go in and pay for it. But
the week everything went boom.
Yeah, and so they just put out a thing saying if you go order online from them, and if you have a regular comic book shop, put the name of that comic book shop in there, and they will give 50% of the price to your comic shop.
Oh, cool.
So that's a really cool thing. So yeah, even at your comic book shop, if you wanted to order something from them, I don't know how many of these producers are doing that, but you know, also again, like and like we've said with tattoo parlors, I'm sure that some comic book shops also offer gift certificates, so you can probably help keep our artists afloat by buying online if you can.
If you don't mind, I want to plug a tattoo shop.
Please.
A friend of mine owns it's Heart of Gold Tattoo in Cleveland, Ohio, close to Cleveland, Ohio. I think it's in a suburb. Just type in Heart of Gold on Facebook. It'll bring you up.
Okay.
My buddy Corey is a tattoo artist there. He's awesome, does amazing work, but I know they're having a little bit of trouble right now with not being able to have people in, especially since Ohio is having a lot of cases of the issue right now. So
I don't know if they sell gift certificates or not at that shop, but
I believe they do, and I think he's mentioned it on Facebook a couple of times. So that's a really good idea. Thank you for letting me plug.
Hell yeah!
Corey. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, but he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, we need to make sure that because we have. You know, they're trying to pay people who are working regularly, but sure.
There are so many people who are like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? That like when they were talking about who gets covered for all of the emergency stuff, like sex work is not considered. Tattoo artists are not going to be considered. Like freelancers, you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things. It's again, like I look at Canada, that's literally like, here's $2,000 a month for 4 months. And if we need to go longer, we'll go longer. And this is not, you don't need to pay it back. We're just going to do this because we want to make sure that you guys get through this. Whereas the US is like, here's $1,200, maybe less. Oh, and you have to pay us back for it. So not feeling very.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard not to dwell on I'm snoozing all of my friends who all they talk about is politics and like I'm trying so hard. It's so difficult.
Let's talk about what we can do.
Yes.
And what we can make happen. I mean, there's a lot of shit that we can't do anything about.
Right. We started the buddy system that people can get together and make plans to play games together or watch movies together.
Yeah. Yeah, TR has created a group on the Facebook called the Buddy System, and she has a theme for every day for watching movies.
I stream movies after I have given up on trying to work.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. It gets people together watching movies together, and you can chat within the app that's being used for it. So, we are still a community. We're still a society. We may not be able to see each other, but this helps keep us connected. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, how about we get into I don't know, maybe some Letterkenny?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
So,
before we do that, I want to throw in. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I want to get this off on the right foot here.
Absolutely.
So yesterday I was washing the car with my son, and he turns to me and goes, "Hey, Dad, can't you just use a sponge?"
What? What did I miss?
Yesterday I was washing the car with my son, and he says to me, "Dad, can't you just use a sponge?"
I'm like looking at Dean like, you're not.
It was not.
I'm sitting here, my hands up in the air, like.
I'm like, okay, what am I missing? I don't get it. Sometimes a little slow on the uptake.
It's okay.
Throwing the dad jokes.
I mean,
out there.
I was a little slow too, but I was a lot faster than you were.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I need an explanation.
that was adorable. I'm usually like, oh fuck, I don't get it.
I know this is a joke, but I'm trying to find out where it is.
Where did the punchline land? I missed it.
As my sister would say, sometimes jokes don't land. That's my fault.
Right, true. So
It's perfect.
Anyway, last week we did Letterkenny versus Penny, which was episode 4, season 7, with our longtime good buddy, Awesome, and with musical guest Finding Freedom. So yeah, last week was it was an episode about siblings and
showing their traditions,
right,
and how they think differently, and
yeah. And so it was a really good episode. It was a good-hearted episode, but it was still funny. Lots of fun with the look at my jugs, and so that was cute. So
are you looking at my girls?
Always. It's my chest, isn't it? So this week's episode is episode 5 of season 7. W's talk, baby. And sometimes W just is really bad at talking, and he says stupid things.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, but this is about wins. So it opens up with the Hicks are back in the cable access studio, getting ready to record their next episode of Crack and Ag, and they kick things off, and McMurray shows up to the studio at the same time, but he can't get in because he's been blacklisted. So Glenn goes and opens the door up for him, and he runs in very excited. And when they ask what he is so excited about,
I have some life-altering news for you.
Well, we got about a half dozen townships watching, so hope it's not too personal.
McMurray have a 5.15-inch penis. What?
So,
what?
Yeah, McMurray has a 5.15 inch
Thanks for
penis.
sharing.
Seriously. And he tells everybody how he had been measuring incorrectly all along, and Glenn asked him how he could have fluffed that up, and he says,
I measure my penis every year, once a year on Boxing Day.
Well, how come it's on Boxing Day?
Oh, because that's when Mrs. McMurray's family leaves after a week-long stay for the holidays, giving us a chance to exchange gifts.
Holy fuck.
Now, I pray to the good Lord Jesus above every year at Christmas Eve at midnight mass. Please, Lord, let me wake up. Let this year be the year that I give Mrs. McMurray a little something extra.
Because, yeah, for so long, he would measure it from the top to the tip after getting really hard and come up with 4.15 inches. And he learned that he'd been measuring it wrong after listening to Howard Stern. Because you should be, according to Stern's episode that he was listening to, that you should be measuring properly from the balls to the tip, which gave him an extra inch. Everybody was very confused as why he was so excited to be average. So they start discussing it, and Glenn says a few times that it's really girth,
right?
That's the important
Jesus,
factor
I'm
here.
so Glenn in this situation. I'm like, come on, doesn't matter that part. How around are you?
Anyway, so and they start taking calls, and they're every caller is.
The greatest ambush of all time.
Oh, totally.
My God. And Katie was just giggling every time.
Well, we know she's a size queen.
Oh, God, yeah. But,
so anyway, so they just berate him. Finally, we then cut to the Res hockey team's coach's office, and Tanis is talking with the Eagles coach. That's the name of the Res team. And she wants to buy the Eagles because she wants her nephews to get out of being in trouble all the time and start getting involved like hockey as they used to when they were younger. He has no interest in selling the team because they're the number one team, and the owners won't sell because they are winning and they're going to go to the championships. She challenges him to play an exhibition game with the Irish, and he says,
"Why would I do that?"
Because if I win, you let me take over here.
And if I win,
I'll suck your dick.
Balls. Deal.
No balls? Oh, okay. I'm getting my dick sucked. So, so he is sure he's going to win.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, from there, Tannis goes over to Coach's house where he's riding his spin bike, and he's talking about how much he's maximizing his performance and
every second.
Yeah. So he's just exaggerating how much effort he's putting in. Tannis tells him that she needs a coach, and he jumps off the bike and he agrees immediately. And
he immediately kicks the bike as well. We've been missing a good coach kick for a couple seasons now.
Right.
Yeah.
So and then he says, "For what?" And she tells him it's for the Letterkenny Irish. And he looks disappointed. He goes, "That team is dog shit." So, but he agrees to do it anyway. So they head off to the gym, and they ask Riley and Jonesy if they're interested in. Of course they are. Dax and Ron also in. Coach says that they also need some tough guys. So they head out to some sandpaper. So basically tough guys. So they go out to the parking lot and to find Tyson and Joint Boy beating the crap out of some guys, and they're in. And so then finally Tannis pops up.
So the Letterkenny Irish are back.
Not yet. We got most of the pieces in place, but we only got one shot at this, one chance, one win. You know, bombing on your mom's spaghetti or whatever that talking singer says.
I love that.
Now, the mom's spaghetti thing in our house has been a thing for a decade. Yep. And like with my stepson and Dean and me all sending memes whenever we find them.
Yep.
And anytime the reference comes up in life, it just makes me giggle like crazy.
So, and then he says they need some, that none of these people have been into a championship and they need some championship quality coaches.
Right.
And it says they have to go back to the gym, and Tannis is like, we were already there. And so they get back to he goes, yeah, they weren't there when we were there before. So they get back
here.
Yeah. They get back to the gym. No, we were here the whole time. And so, it was Mary Ann and Betty Ann, and they're, so basically they're asking them to be involved. They immediately, agree. But they think he's talking about being with the Shamrockettes. They let him know the team folded. He explained, no, this is to coach the Irish, and they all agree even more vehemently, saying that they like the idea of telling men what to do.
And Coach should have stopped right there.
Yeah. So Coach is relieved they weren't hoping to play on the men's team because, they're girls. So they have this whole discussion / debate / argument around that. At that point, Mary Ann and Betty Ann agree to do it only if the Irish team beats the Shamrockettes. Coach starts just laughing, and he of course agrees. And they say, just no contact.
I'll break you in half.
no contact. Yeah, of course, no contact. And so anyway, from there we cut to the Hick house. There's a knock on the door. Wayne opens it up, and it's Rosie. They have this
looking so pretty.
Yeah. When does she not? They have this awkward moment of their greetings, and she tells Wayne that she's back. And Wayne notices a little pit puppy, and says, "Who's this?" It's Zeke. And Rosie says that she's back, and that would ask Wayne if he'll take care of Zeke. Because she needs to go back to BC to get his sister, who wasn't feeling well, and so couldn't travel with her. He agrees, and that's it for that. Then we go to the locker room. So all the boys are suiting up, and Tannis and Coach come in. Tannis tells them that before they're done, they need to get mic'd out. And so mic'd up, yeah. So she explains that she wants to give her nephews the professional in-game experience by being able to not only see their favorite team but hear them as well. Then she walkie-talkies up to Stuart and Rold, who are hanging out in the booth, and they're trying to get ready to do the music. And Rold says that Stuart hasn't picked a song yet, and so. So I need to know that you'll be ready. And he says, we'll be ready. So Jim Dickens walks in then. He goes, might I suggest a boogie? So they cut back to the locker room. The boys are say that they don't have all the team. They're missing Bartz, Yorkie, Schulte, Fiske, and Boomtown. And they said, forget those guys. I've got somebody who's better than them altogether. Coach then so you hear the Riley and Josie's like, no. And then so it's Shorzy.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. So so automatically they're upset. There's a whole bunch of fuck you. It's not the good place. Fuck you, Shorzy. Fuck you, Riley. Fuck you, Jonesy. He's impregnated both of their moms. And so there's going to be they want to both be named about the places they were conceived, and so he says he can't wait to meet Martha's Vineyard shore. And then that Riley's mom, he didn't know how he was going to do with what was it again?
He wanted to shorten the handicap stall at a cheesecake factory.
Right. And so then we cut back up to the booth. Stuart and Roller are trying to figure out the music. Stuart just can't handle it. I don't know if he leaves or just collapses.
When Tanis is yelling at them,
yeah.
he's like edging out the door.
Yeah, so,
while Jim's like staring at Roller.
Right.
And Roll's like,
you're right. Jim Dickens suggested they just play what's already in the CD player. Rolled looks, and it's Susan Aglakark. He closes it and hits he says, just hit the play button. So he hits the play button. And how does that song go?
oh God, you're going to make me do it. CM, we are a family.
There you go. Jim Dickens starts the announcing of the teams. So down on the floor, Axe and Slash and Tanis are all beginning the mics and monitors and everything. So out on the ice, the teams are lining up for the puck drop. Shorzy begins with the chirps. All right, already, of course.
What a great day for men's competitive hockey.
Right.
With women's competitive hockey, just like this, but a little less competitive.
So, of course, Shorzy. The puck drops, the game starts. Shorzy makes the first goal. Then right after that, Riley and Jonesy, goal after goal after goal. The halftime, I think it's 11-0. When they go in halftime. So then we're back at the farm and in the barn. Wayne is doing some chores. He's got Zeke tied up to something on a long rope, and he's just playing around. And Marie Fred shows him up and sees there's this little guy playing, rolling in the hay. And Wayne explains that a gal he used to date came by, needed help with the dog, and then he agreed. And Marie Fred wants to know, is she pushing up on you? And he's like, no. And she goes, okay, that's fine.
Well, I like the way that she phrased that. She's like, does she want you back? No. Would I like her?
Right.
Okay, then we're good.
Yeah.
Like, if I wouldn't like her, I don't know. Like, was this a good ex-girlfriend or was this like Angie?
Yeah. So. Right. So Marie Fred heads off back to the house, and when we head to the hockey barn again, and Coach is walking down the hallway during halftime and sees that Marianne and Betty Ann are no longer dressed in their hockey gear, and mentions that women are so confusing that they have to change their clothes. And they say, no, we can, right. We concede. I'll get to that.
So that was 11 in one period, not in a half.
Okay. Is there not a half?
That's
somebody
who's more.
There's 3 periods in a hockey game. It was after one period. It was intermission between the first and second.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So he was like, in between each period, are you going to change your clothes?
Right. So they tell him that they concede. He starts saying, "Oh, come on now, you're just being bitter biscuits." I see a lot of bitter biscuitry. So they say, ice time isn't cheap, and instead of just getting beaten so hard, that may as well start practice now and use the rest of that time. So from there, and then and that's it. Tanis walks up. She asks him why he's smiling. He says, "The Irish are back."
No, he says it.
Right. And so I have a thought of that now that I know I didn't write this down originally, but it just tells me, about his knowledge of women. that he probably got upset with Barb, and that's why she's dead.
Oh yeah, there's a whole lot of, Barb is upstairs,
Right.
Mummified in a chair kind of creep going on with that guy.
And so so here's the stuff I have, and I'll do this real quick. And going to Coach and his ideas about women, I say I can't disagree with Coach about the 220-pound hockey player, which he's for his mind are automatically men. Marianne and Betty Ann are 120 pounds, so
they're tiny.
That's always female hockey player for him. So I did some calculations, based off the average speed of being 20 miles an hour. The impact force for a 120-pound hockey player is 33.155 newtons. Whereas a 220-pound hockey player at the same speed, the impact is 60.785 newtons. So yeah, there is obviously a difference in that.
As a female-ish identified person playing a contact sport at 250 pounds and not being the biggest on the team, I think Coach has a warped idea of what a woman is.
Correct. He sees Marianne and Betty, and those are average hockey women. That's what he sees.
Which I don't believe, because a lot of people I played roller derby with played hockey.
No, you're not wrong. I mean,
there are some big scary women out there too.
Yeah, like our buddy Chip. She is
right.
Yeah, now she is tiny. And she plays goalie for her team, which I think is adorable.
That's cute. Being tiny and playing goalie.
Oh yes, and
that's like a jammer playing a B1.
Yeah. So let's see. So I wonder when Mary Fred walked in with where the dog was, if she started feeling jealousy there, that thinking he might be cheating, because of things that happen. And the other thing, big shout out to Jared Kiso and him doing all those different voices as the callers.
Jesus Christ.
And also, how gross is it about Shorzy taking his shoes off in the bathroom stall? It just made me cringe. I mean, I'm not, well, now I am, but generally speaking, I'm not completely hygiene oriented. I'm not one of those people like that, but fucking come on. I mean, they've already talked about with the ants and the sea-doos about pissing all over the floor. And so, yeah, it has been noted. So Shorty's gross. Anyway, that's all I've got. What do you guys got?
That's just that.
We could jump back to the greatest ambush in the history of warfare.
Oh God,
yeah. I would 127 hours, both of my arms with Mrs. McMurray.
I will cut off both your arms and shove them right up your ass.
God damn it, McMurray! You coming at your Mrs. McMurray with that pathetic excuse for an existence?
What was it? Pedestrian
effort? Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Hi, McMurray. I love that one voice.
Dan, whenever McMurray talks about the going to mass for Christmas Eve, as soon as he's not praying about his giving him an extra inch on his leg, Dan just goes, "Fucking Catholics."
Fucking Catholics. Yeah.
And then when Dan sprays when he says, "I have a 5.15 inch penis," just everything he's drinking. Oh man, that I died. I was watching it at lunch at work when that episode came out, and I was laughing so hard. My boss came in, he's like, "What is wrong?" I was like, "Watch this."
McMurray have a 5.15 inch penis.
That's a pretty good McMurray. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh God, he does. It's gross. I have to tell him sometimes he's not allowed to. I think my favorite part of that scene was Patty, the one he hooked up with at a Buck and Doe, because it sounded so much like Lola from Big Mouth that I had to check and make sure Nick Kroll was not like guesting on it. At least it wasn't anywhere. Right. It sounded so much like, I was like, oh my God, what's her name? And I had to go like back to Big Mouth, and I'm like, okay, it's this character. Who's that? Nick Kroll. Okay, are they in Letterkenny?
Oh, that was all Jared Kiso.
That was all Jared Kiso.
But also fantastic, by the way.
Yes,
right?
Go watch Big Mouth. It's amazing.
Then the hockey, the other parts of the the episode great. You already mentioned the it's like we got to go back to the gym, but we were just there.
Right? We're already there.
It's kind of like the no.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You probably could not hear the dog moan just now, but she's like, oh.
And then all of Shorzy chirps. Oh, before we get into the Shorzy chirps, we need to talk about it's like, are all the mics on? Affirmative. What is this? Effing Star Trek?
So cute.
Affirmatory?
But they were like, I'd like if it was.
Can we also point out how awesome Roldy was? How excited he was? Like, ready!
I love Roldy always.
And Roldy and Jim up in that booth together with their
kind of flirting, in my opinion, a little bit.
Well, so yeah,
I know what you said the other day. That was
awesome.
That was awesome. Okay,
yeah.
So awesome. You totally made me look at the two of them together in a different light now that I'm watching this episode, because I feel like Jim was giving a direction and Roldy was like, okay. Like he didn't do that when Tanis, like he got uncomfortable with Tanis, but when Jim did it, he was like, yeah.
Well, they're scared of Tanis. So yeah.
Oh, so yeah. Everyone's scared of Auntie or Tandy. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Tansy.
Well, I don't think Roldy really, I mean, Rold was, like I said, he was uncomfortable when Tanis was demanding and he was like, I don't know what to do. But Jim was like, I think you should listen to the okay.
I think you should listen to the lady.
You can say that. You can use that voice. I like that one.
You like it 1, maybe 2, give it a 3, give it a 4 or 5 times. Yeah. So I and looking at the height difference between those two is just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty great.
What else we got?
And we can get into the Shorzy chirps. Probably the best part of the thing. Every time he steps up to the face-off rink, slaps out that player's stick. Cuteness Everdeen stick.
I love that.
The cuteness Everdeen.
That was cute.
Then every time they score a goal, he sprays the goalie, except for the one time he slides it on his knees to give her a hug.
Oh, yeah.
Guess we should change our Facebook status. It's complicated.
That was after cuteness checked him in the balls. Because he kept hitting her on the butt with the stick, so she checked him in the balls, and he's like, "We're gonna have to change our Facebook status." Or whatever it was.
It's complicated.
Hey, number 11, why are you skating like a girl? Because I am one.
I am a girl.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Are you?
Really?
No, you're not.
That kind of is like going back to the gay enrolled thing when they first met. I'm gay, so am I. No, you're not. That's just what my dad said. You're the one who named me after the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Anyway, yeah, Shorzy always has. I mean, they're. I don't like his bathroom chirps.
Yeah,
but his hockey chirps.
But you don't like that because you know very well that is going to make me want to turn it off.
Yeah.
I'm not a poop joke fan, and the farting and thing. I know there are a lot of you out there who agree with me on this. And when he's chirping and he's working out, okay, cool. Like I'm not a big fan of punching down. That's what you do, but whatever. It's a cool character. And when he's sitting on the toilet, come on. I bet every one of you could feel the stare I just gave him.
But it's grosser that he takes his shoes off.
It is grosser that he takes his shoes off. Absolutely.
But he does have a very efficient ass wash.
Yep.
I'm glad he didn't fart during that.
Yep.
What was the meal that he asked her if she liked after he called her cuteness Everdeen? He was
he goes, you like pizza? I like pizza ass.
Short shifts.
Yeah,
have you ever figured that one out?
No. Jake probably knows though.
What
does short shifts mean? Do you know?
Oh, short shifts. It just means he's going to be on the ice very shortly. You're trying to keep a player out there for less than 30 seconds so that they stay refreshed.
Right.
So he was basically like, short shifts, got to go back to the bench.
Yeah, exactly. He'd come out, make a chirp, and run back.
Yeah, I like that. I knew it had to be something like that, but I was like, there's got to be a context I'm just not quite getting. So talking about Shorzy, I actually feel really bad for Riley and Jonesy every time Shorzy is like getting down on them because, first of all, their moms can do whatever the hell they want to do, and that is totally okay. But some dude does not need to come and tell their kids what he's fucking doing to them in front of all of their friends and just like antagonizing them. Like Riley and Jonesy have never really done anything to Shorzy other than say, fuck you, Shorzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But Shorzy continually dumps on them and makes them feel like shit. And the boys keep having to check in with each other to make sure that he's lying. And I'm just like, they're like little cinnamon rolls that are like, I don't know why you're doing this to me.
well, I mean, as far as the pregnancy, I'm sure that they're lying.
There could be.
We
But
do know at the end of, I think it was.
we know
yeah.
that he was sleeping with their mothers. Yes,
Yeah.
that's not my point. My
Okay.
point is, why is he rubbing it in Riley and Jonesy's faces? Why is he always dumping on them? Why is he always making them feel like shit?
I think he upped it when Shorzy was on the bench, and I think that was in season 3, and he had Tyson and Joy Boy beat him up. yeah.
That's
take
probably
care
the
of those.
changing point. Yeah, that's right around the exact time.
Because he was shouting out at Katie.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah. He says, "Wait, take those 2 guys out."
I don't know. I still feel like he goes way too hard on 2 people that have absolutely no way of fighting back.
Yeah. True.
I mean, they
Anything-
do start
what
to
else
try. They come at him with the. He comes at the chirp, and they say it's his slow learning Mennonite uncle's favorite chirp. And then that's like the last time they actually chirp back at Shorzy, because then from there on out, it's
Fuck you,
3
Shorzy.
things happen. Yeah, that's their only chirp from there on out.
They got nothing. They have run out of their like best idea.
Right.
Yep.
Like years ago. The only other thing I had, well, besides the fact that I'm still missing the cold open, I admit that really does.
Yeah.
Like the more I watch this season, the more I miss it, actually. But the song OCM by Susan Aglukark is Inuki to it. So that's the language that it is. It's an actual, like, from 95, and it was a
So it's
actual,
like it's like Inuit language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
but they have more syllables in that word.
Right. Well, I mean, whatever their language is called something other
Yes.
than what their race is called.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool that they used that as they're showing kind of the natives and the hockey players are becoming one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a native song that, you know, that people would know, at least Canadian people would know, because it was a hit in the 90s in Canada.
Right.
So I thought that was a really nice little Jared Kiso obvious fact.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
What else we got? Anything?
I think that was everything I had. Wait, there was... I did really like how when Wayne and Rosie were talking, how they were totally like making fun of breed bands, and veterinarians they all hate it. So they all like, I remember when there wasn't technically breed bans, but back when like landlords could say no, and every animal I owned for most of my life was a lab.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, almost every dog that I've owned has been of a pit bull variety or some other quote unquote scary, like Rottweiler, or, you know, we have a Great Dane mix right now. Like these big giant dogs who are the sweetest, cuddliest little, like, like when we had a Mastiff, she used to let my goddaughter ride around on her like a horse.
Yeah.
Like, you get a Chihuahua. I was bitten by my uncle's Chihuahua so many goddamn times, I can't even tell you. In my entire life of owning big dogs, I've only had once where one of my dogs bit a friend of mine, and that was because she thought that my friend was hurting me. So breed bands are stupid.
Yeah. What did she say it was at first? A teacup?
A teacup Yorkie.
Yorkie, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she said it was an American Bulldog.
Yeah. Which is closer to the shape of the dog's head.
Yeah. But I love the teacup Yorkie. That was
right.
Funny.
I'll say this: when I was growing up, the reason why I prefer cats over dogs is my my neighbor's grandfather had a mini Doberman, and that thing was yappy and snappy and would come at you, and it scared dogs away from me like pretty much my entire life. It was until I got to college when my friends would have dogs at their places that I actually started playing with dogs that were like a normal size that I actually enjoy time with dogs.
Yeah, I was going to say that first word that you said, the mini, that's the part. Yeah, I don't know what it is with the small dogs.
Oh, I know I know what it is. It's because they are bred and overbred to be small. And
most of them in their backgrounds were bred to like chase rats and, rabbits and other pests and stuff like that.
So,
so they're, not.
Yeah. So most of the quote unquote pure bred dogs all have mental issues. Kind of like the royal family.
Where's my air horn?
Right? Oh,
I've got some better sounds.
If my mom's listening, she would be so mad at you right now.
So I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready for a little. Are you ready for a little? I don't know. You ready for a little? All right. So.
All right.
Back at it again. We got a lot of people on Fuck Fight Friday today.
We do.
Because there was a lot. I think this is probably the episode that had the most people with speaking parts in it.
And yet still people that weren't in it. Like Gail. Mrs. McMurray.
No Gail, Mrs. McMurray, no Bonnie McMurray.
Yeah.
So yeah. But we do have a good chunk of the characters. So let me explain again. Fuck Fight Friday is our version of Fuck, Marry, Kill, where we don't like to kill anybody, and we want to make friends with them, so we don't necessarily want to marry anybody.
And though you never in real life want to assume consent, we are going to assume that
for the purposes of this game.
Yes,
everyone. We're assuming that everyone consents and wants to be, and sexuality does not matter.
Right.
So
sexuality or sexual parts or genders or all the things,
or having other partners,
all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything is consensual. Everything is open. And so we'll start off like we do with Wayne.
I'm like Marie Fred. I see him playing with a puppy and I just want to shake him back inside.
Keep him awake for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I love how Wayne is very much like, okay, I'll do this thing for you. This is a favor. Yes. Okay. And then girlfriend, this is a thing that happened. I want to make sure that you know, okay, you're okay with it. Everything's fine. No secrets. I love that about him.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's been that way since day one of this show.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I just love that that's consistent because that's not always consistent in real life.
Yeah. That's his code.
That's his code.
Yeah. What you got, Jake?
I'll fur to Wayne today.
All right.
Yeah.
Now this one didn't have a lot to say except for on the show Derry.
So Derry and Squirrely Wayne, Squirrely Dan are kind of the same for me in this episode.
Yeah.
They're just kind of fodder during Crack and Ag.
Yeah.
And that scene is one of my least favorite scenes probably of all of Letterkenny for me.
Yeah.
Because I do not enjoy that that kind of belittling humor necessarily. And so I would say Ferda for Derry and Squirrely Dan right now with the I'm really disappointed in you boys kind of friendship.
Okay.
I'm hold up. You're even for McMurray? Like you're against that even against McMurray?
McMurray's
we haven't got to McMurray yet.
McMurray's proud of this and they're basically treating him like shit for being proud of it. Why not just I have students who will bring me stuff that they are extremely proud of that I have to remember that they're children.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting McMurray is a child?
Yeah,
I'm suggesting
McMurray is a grown man and a piece of shit. So
I am suggesting that McMurray is human.
But still a piece of shit.
Exactly.
You can be a piece of shit and still have feelings.
Maybe.
He's not. The pieces of shit that don't have feelings are the pieces of shit in charge of our country. So I think that's a totally different, he's a piece of shit in that, I wouldn't be his friend, but I wouldn't be his enemy.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't, his boundaries are sorely lacking.
Oh my God. And I think that's the biggest reason why I don't like him and why Wayne doesn't like him. He goes too far. He doesn't know where that line is and he crosses it immediately.
Right.
And I have that same problem with people, but I also probably have a little more patience for people than Wayne does.
Yeah. Well, that's his. I mean, assuming that, like we've always said, that he is somewhere on the spectrum, that may be a processing thing for him. If you don't fit in this, I don't know how to deal with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So where are you on Derry and Squirrely Dan?
I just defer to the boys.
Yeah. Miss Katie.
I'm going to fight her.
I'm
going to smack the shit out of her because fuck you. She was enjoying the hell out of that. She was laughing. Somebody else. Somebody else. Somebody else. Somebody else. She was taking so much joy out of watching McMurray just crumble. And this is a guy that definitely has a false sense of self-esteem. But I think that false sense of self-esteem is really kind of covering up for, well, he always thought he had a tiny penis. And now he's like, I'm average. And everyone's like, you're a fucking asshole. So I don't know. I feel bad for McMurray in this scene.
Understood.
I'm not trying to just stay on the same plane here, but I'm going to defer to Katie because I would be sitting there laughing too.
Totally. Dean would be too. Dean would be too.
I think it's more one of those things is like, as much as we like shit on McMurray like all the time, like that's A, the point, and B, they're all friends to the point where like friends shit on each other like that. But then you know that they'll be there for McMurray to begin with. Like when a friend asks for help, they're there for McMurray, like pretty much on the regular. So like, they consider him a friend. So like the minute he comes in, he's like, yeah, this, they're like, no, we're going to ruin you right now.
It's roasting time. You put this out on the air.
Right. Now that was a totally different thing.
You deserve.
I think that's more like he didn't understand boundaries again in that situation. I say all of this acknowledging that I have a way different pattern with my friends than a lot of people do. The closest I would come to something like that is my friends and I call each other bitches. Like that's really, we don't insult each other at all. That's not a part of our, like, and some of them have friends that they do that with. That's great. Again, everybody relates with everybody in different ways. I don't relate that way and it makes me uncomfortable because I've been on the end of quote unquote friends making fun of me without me realizing that was what they were doing. And I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, Wayne was. I guess we could let crack an egg go on a little longer.
Well, he really didn't like it until it just like it was like free for all, and he's like, all right, fine, I'll give into it.
I think that here's what I think. I think they keep hoping that these stupid things that he puts himself in is a learning experience.
I believe that's Wayne.
During all of that, because that's the reason why he was allowed in the first place was because Squirrely Dan said, if a friend asks for help, and that's when Kaylee said, get off my dick, Dan.
Or get off his dick.
Get off his dick, Dan. Yeah. So yeah, it was Squirrely Dan's, saying, that he should be let in and all that stuff. So he knew that they were on the air because Derry said so. We're just going out to like 4 or 5 different townships here. So hope you don't have anything that's, that's super, what did he say? I wasn't private.
It was private. Yeah.
Was it? Okay. Yeah. So
I don't think that McMurray understands what is appropriate behind the scenes. I mean, think of the holiday one where he was dressed up as Santa and it was supposed to be like for the community to watch, and it was basically BDSM.
The talent show.
The talent show, yeah. Like that was basically like a little BDSM show, and that's great, but that's not something you do in public.
Right.
I don't
not
think he
everybody
understands,
else consented.
Right. I don't think he understands that line of consent. That the world does not want to know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah. Like, I just don't know how he has not gotten that yet.
I know people like that in real life.
They keep telling him. I don't know.
They keep telling him and they keep trying, which is why I still think that, yes, they are trying to be his friend.
Yeah. So I think it's just a learning experience.
Little glimpse into my brain and why certain people are not my friends.
Yeah. So how about Glenn and his girth?
Oh my God, I am Glenn. I am Glenn in this. Every time he's talking about it, 4 inches, 5 inches, I'm like, but that's not the part that matters.
Now you just brought this on yourself now, Glenn.
Right? Oh God, I'm going to say Ferda only because I literally would be right next to him going, but how big around? Do you have what's going to satisfy the thing that feels good?
Yeah. So,
and if not, are you talented in other areas?
Yeah, it was like it'd be kind of like I don't know if Orange is the New Black, the warden, when he was getting it on with the gal who runs she's like from the governor's office or something, and he's apparently really big around. And he says, "Yeah, they always called me beer can." All right, so where are you with Glenn?
I'm gonna go with Ferda as well because I'd pretty much be on the same boat with him.
All right, McMurray.
Ferda, that guy needs a friend right now. That guy needs someone to go, dude.
You better listen.
This is like your last chance. You now have like hundreds of people who have heard you announce this.
We
need to talk. You need to listen.
Oh, I'm definitely going to fight McMurray here, but maybe more with words because I think I'm going to throw some more roasting his way.
All right, I think I know where we might be on tennis. No? I know where I am.
I know where you are.
I live in that zone, by the way.
I usually do, and anytime the little bits of toxic masculinity come out, it just makes me want her less. Like, I'm gonna Ferda Tannis because I think she's wonderful in this episode, but there are a few times where I'm just like, don't fucking say that.
I mean,
she takes the kind of alpha male role in this, in the like hitting on no honey, you don't talk, you're just pretty. And that's fine. I'm fine with that character if that's, if people consent to it.
Reversal of roles,
exactly. It just, for me, I don't like, for my personal relationships, especially sexual relationships, to be in a relationship where somebody believes that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So stupid demi brain doesn't let me just have sex.
She's just always the boss, and
which is wonderful when she's not insulting someone's masculinity just to like make a joke or something like that.
Yeah. So Jake.
Oh, I was gonna say don't kink shame me. Yes, ma'am, Miss Cannon.
Oh no, I will not kink shame anyone because trust me. I would get in so much trouble.
Only if kink shaming is your kink. That's fine.
All right, that's my kink. All right. So, and I don't know that his name was mentioned. The Eagles coach.
Oh yeah, I don't know his name either. I just know him as the Eagles coach.
Yeah.
Fight.
Okay.
Yeah, because I would be trying to get head out of this thing, like.
Yeah, I would. She offered.
She did offer.
But like he took it to the next level. He didn't just accept what it was. He was trying to get more out of it. So
he always said, "Well, I think that was a question. Balls." There was a pause. Deal.
Now here's the question: did the silence mean yes or no?
Well,
I think she was like glaring at him.
Yeah, she was glaring at him, and if it was not a vocal and affirmative, a vocal affirmative, then no, it's no.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
vocal and enthusiastic consent.
She may not have she may not have the enthusiasm. She's
unenthusiastic consent is not consent.
Well, if she says,
it's okay. I have to do this because of something. Like that's not the way that consent works. She's offering to do the thing. It's not necessarily a consent thing. That's a transaction they're making.
Mm.
So
he's the one, since she's the one who made the offer. He's the one who has to give the consent. So, so
very true.
Anyway, so you didn't say where you are. Are you gonna fight?
Ferda.
All right.
I got nothing there.
Yeah, that's all right. Coach.
I'm getting like more and more scared of Coach.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's killed Barb.
Norman Bates.
Yeah.
All the more reason to Ferda him because you do not want to be the next one.
Right? Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Ferda, because I'm a little nervous and probably wouldn't want to be alone with him.
Riley and Jonesy.
Ferda?
Okay. Dax and Ron.
All four of them. Fuck, please. Boom.
So you're
you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna exercise my. Let's go ahead and have a fivesome.
So you're
not
fucking,
individually in
Okay.
any way. As the four of them,
Okay. Okay, so hang on. Riley and Jonesy is
I can
with the caveat
with
that
the
you
caveat,
want
fuck.
with okay. I will accept a caveat. So
love
everybody for Riley and Jonesy and Dax and Ron,
yes,
or fucking.
yes.
All right. What about Tyson and Joint Boy?
Ferda, just not my type.
That's all right.
But also, I want them on my side for especially if I need to go into like some sort of city.
Yeah. Tyson, yes. Joint Boy, Ferda.
They're one person.
Ferda. I just can't bring myself with Joint Boy. I can't.
Marianne and Betty Ann.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Sturt by himself?
Yeah.
Ferda.
No, actually, yeah, Stuart.
Yeah.
I do have Stuart because he went.
Because he snuck out. He couldn't make a decision and then froze and left it on someone else. And
So you're saying Ferda?
I'm saying Ferda.
All right. Jake?
It's Stuart and Roldy in general, just fuck. They're wonderful at all times. Stuart.
So where are you with Roldy?
Fuck.
All right.
He's so cute.
I think I know where you are on this one too.
When Jim is like, do the thing, and he's like, hee, okay.
Speaking of Jim Dickens. Dickskin. All right.
Ferda, just because I have many things that I would like to hear him say, just give him a list.
Oh, seriously, right? I want to know what he sounds like when he's having sex.
That is one orgasm, 2 orgasms. How many orgasms?
Can we have three?
Can
Three?
we have
Here
three?
we go. We're gonna have
We're
three.
gonna
We're
have
gonna have 4.
Sold at 2. With a half hour
Sold
break
at
in
disappointment.
Aw.
Rosie.
Ferda, for this episode, she's so pretty and she has a pit bull. And she's going to go get more. But all we have is that little snippet, and so that would be Ferda.
Mm.
Yeah, y'all are going to fuck her. I know. It's all good.
between. Yes, yes, indeed.
Yes.
I'm going to stick in the you know what I'm saying?
Ahead.
All right. And finally, well, I can add one more after this. Marie Fred.
In this episode,
Yep. In this episode, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
considering
What
we
about
don't know what happens in the future from here on out. Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
Now she had a bit of a speaking role. Cuteness Everdeen.
Ferda, because you honestly don't see much of Cuteness Everdeen. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I say Ferda as well, but yeah, she stood up to Shorzy, and that's pretty fucking boss. Like, I want to be her friend for sure.
Yeah. All right.
I want
to
take her to Cheesecake Factory.
Go for a sliced pizza.
Pizza ass.
Pizza ass.
So that's all I've got from Front Fight Ferda. We anything else?
I mean, you could throw the native cousins. Was it Axe?
Oh, Axe and Slash. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Ferda.
Ferda, just because they're being full on nerds, and I love it.
Yes.
Engage monitor.
Right.
True. So yeah, that's it.
This is one of my absolute favorite episodes of this show.
Tiara didn't really care for it so much.
Not a fan, but
I honestly, I think of this entire season is up until this episode for me was a bit lacking.
Yeah.
Just in my own personal view.
It took a big turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say probably started last season, and then I think through the rest of the season up until next episode, even that's where it got better.
It's weird because it feels like since they've realized that they have this American audience on it too, like they're changing the comedy style a little bit. Like they're staying to the quick, like dry wit, fast, like just keep punching you with jokes. But it's more broad and like referencey as opposed to just like wholly and nichely Canadian. And
right.
I love this show. I still love this season. Like this episode felt more like previous seasons than the other ones in this season have so far. But they're also telling more of Wayne's love story in this season. They're getting away from it being more just about the core three boys of Wayne, Dan, and Derry. Yeah, thank you. And it does feel a little disjointed from the rest. Like I was saying, like this is one of my favorite episodes because of how it made me laugh. Because it hit my kind of humor like right on the head. But like I said, the last time I was on this show too, a lot of my favorite episodes come from hockey related episodes because I have a background in some of that. So when I get a lot of that in one episode, it tends to make me like laugh even more. That being said, I'm with you 100% that this episode feels different than what we've been used to on Letterkenny. I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. I've watched more since this episode.
What? Spoilers!
Yeah, but I'm not gonna ruin anything. They kind of come back around and become more of a not broader, but like they go back to what was really good with what's before, but they do it in a very Letterkenny way. So
So yeah, and
to me, 7 feels like Hulu told them a whole bunch of stuff, and they tried to make it work the way that Hulu wanted to, and then they kind of over time got more and more control back.
Yeah, I think it was more that
through 8
that it was. I think Hulu, if Hulu was involved with that portion of it, I would say that they probably said you may want to do a catch up of the season of what they're all about, what Letterkenny is all about.
Right. We talked about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that probably is where that started because there's a lot of rehashing what's happened in seasons 1 through 6. Those same themes that just kind of get broken down into tighter segments where you're putting 6 seasons into 1 season. So I think there's a lot of that in there, and I think that this episode and the next episode is kind of breaking down, about the how the Shamrockettes were kind of coming together, and so we're into the hockey.
All of the hockey stuff,
right,
they're bringing it back to because they had no hockey for a while there, so they're bringing the hockey back, which is really cool.
Yeah,
and keeping the women involved, which I really like.
Yes,
and just the relationships get a little more complicated.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the American part that was thrown in there is they're making the relationships between everybody a little more.
Yeah.
When before it was, these are their relationships and it's very cut and dry and very like you can anyway. Yeah. I love the show. I love the way it's growing. The reason why I speak out on the things that I don't like about it, it's not that I don't think other people can't like it. I love that you guys enjoy things that I don't because I'm a poopy pants a lot of the time. I know this, but it's a lot of it has to do with, the autism, but it also has to do with just the kind of TV shows that I normally like. And comedy is not normally a kind of TV show that I like. Like things like Letterkenny and Psych and, like Big Mouth that we talked about earlier. I think they are hilarious, but the exact same show done by a different group of whatever, it wouldn't work the same way. So like if the scene where they were all insulting McMurray happened in another show that I loved, it would have turned me off to that show. But because it's in Letterkenny and because of the everything I know, kind of going into it, it puts it into a different context. I don't like it, but that doesn't make me not like the show as a whole.
I think, for a show that really
it's a huge, broad audience for it now.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's, and they don't, and there's still, aside from, the stuff that happens with McMurray, them punching at him. I don't think that's
and
punching.
The Shoresy.
Yeah. And any of that stuff, I don't see that as punching down because they are all on the same level in that case. I will say that, Coach, and I will put this out as in a small town, like that, there's going to be a lot of guys who are like that. So that's not unrealistic.
I get that too. But I mean, one of the biggest reasons I stopped playing roller derby was because of people like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's just that's not a culture that I want to be a part of. Right. So I have no problem if that works for you, but I can't agree with you personally.
Right. I mean, and so I think that because like even with Tanis, like you pointed out, it's still the misogyny is still there. So regardless of who it's coming from, it's coming.
Yep.
And so I think they try to point out that it's,
it's not just a man thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Tanis is full of toxic masculinity. It has nothing to do with whether or not she is feminine. It has to do with her attitudes towards men.
Right.
And her attitudes
Gender
towards
roles.
men are gender specific. Men should be this. If you're doing something other than this, that's not okay.
How much butter do you like on your ginger rolls?
I prefer cinnamon and sugar.
Anything else we want to? Any other final thoughts before we?
Not very PC there, bro.
That's my husband.
But what if it's garlic butter?
Ooh.
Okay, so
hold on. Are we talking honey butter from Texas Roadhouse? Because then we can get all.
Oh, those are good too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a honey butter
you're
though.
not a honey butter.
I don't like my sweet and savory.
Cinnamon butter from
cinnamon. If I was going for like a dessert, absolutely. But if we're talking like savory meal, garlic, lots of garlic.
All right.
Garlic and salt and butter.
That would be a ginger roast.
Okay. I was thinking more like the breadsticks at Olive Garden, which are the only good things about Olive Garden.
Not much girth on those.
Not so much.
Anything else?
I apologize.
Anything? You're good? Jake?
I am good.
Jake?
Not necessarily about the episode in general.
No, yeah. I mean, if you want to do more plugs or whatever, we'd love to hear them.
What was that?
Any other plugs or thoughts, stuff, whatever, anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to hear it.
So we've been here at Wrestlethon. We've been trying to get some things together for. We were trying to do something for March Madness, but March Madness has been canceled.
Right.
However, we are doing the wrestling video game March Madness tournament currently happening on Twitter. You've probably seen some of our tweets about it, but every day we are doing a couple different polls so that fans can vote on what their favorite game from Wrestlethon is. We started with a bracket of 64 games. We have over 100 in our archive, but we have 64 games that we've set up for a tournament. You can find the bracket at wrestlethon.com or go to our Twitter. It's our pinned tweet, I think, at the moment. But you can see all 64 games, and we took some time and we seeded them what we feel is correctly. And we've had some upsets. We've had some games that have bigger followings get trounced by games that we had no idea was going to happen. And we've seen some games that are generally beloved across the board destroy games we thought were going to be just destroyed. So, I mean, we're getting both sides of it. It is culminating in a 16 game tournament. We're going to start streaming these here in mid-April, probably around the 15th or 16th. But we're going to be streaming them on Wrestlethon or twitch.tv/Wrestlethon. We're going to be streaming an hour of each game. So that they're going against each other. And what we plan on doing during during the couple hour streams that we do is the first hour will be based on one of the seed games. The other one will be based on the other one. And we're going to give everyone as much information about the game as we can, as well as show everyone a lot of the different modes so that they can make a better informed decision on their vote. I don't think that's going to matter. People are going to go with the games they remember that were awesome when they were kids. But it's just a way for everyone kind of to join together and talk about wrestling games and be involved with Wrestlethon going forward so that we can give more information about how we're planning on extending the event going forward, as well as what we're planning on doing to make, what's the other word I'm looking for here? What we have to do to postpone the event due to the situation that's going on right now. Because we want everyone to know that Wrestlethon is for everyone. We've always been very clear about that. Doesn't matter if you're big, tall, purple, orange,
Jim Dickens,
Rolly, however you identify, Wrestlethon's for everyone. And during this time that that everyone's scared and worried and stressed, we want to be a escape as much as we can for the next person. So if you have anything that you'd like to talk to us about, twitter.com/Wrestlethon, Wrestlethon.com. There's multiple ways to contact us as well. We're always looking for more people that are interested in helping us raise money for Child's Play charity. And the Child's Play charity is an awesome organization, especially right now. There's a lot of kids that are getting sick with this, a lot of families that are being having to spend times in hospitals, and it's going to have to, these kids are going to need some times to still feel like kids. So if you guys want to donate anything to Child's Play charity, go check them out on Twitter, Child's Play charity. That's their Twitter, childsplaycharity.org is the website. So you can donate as much or as little as you'd like there. Every dollar helps. If you want to go to our website, wrestlethon.com, there's a donation link there. You can donate through us as well. And I really want to thank you guys for having me on. I love talking about Letterkenny. I love exposing a lot of my friends to Letterkenny. They might not necessarily give me complete consent to expose them to Letterkenny, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love this show. It's fantastic. If you guys wouldn't mind, I am going to again break this fourth wall. There's an upcoming event that happens in Letterkenny that I think might be our fault. On Twitter. We'll talk about it again. I think you guys are going to have me back.
Yeah.
But I think
for next season,
I think that might be our fault. Like us on Twitter, us tagging a whole bunch of the characters and actors from Letterkenny, and it made me laugh. And like everyone that I know that knows that we love Letterkenny and knows what you guys are about and what we do on Twitter, everyone was like, they totally did it. They did it. Oh my God.
Yeah. And because you were on today because I think it's this upcoming weekend, you were supposed to be doing Wrestlethon.
Yeah. We were supposed to be starting the big swing for Wrestlethon. This year's event, last year's event was this weekend. So we went 5th through 6th, and we had talked last time when I came on for the back-to-back-to-back episode about setting something up there so we could like kind of lead into the push of the event. The event got moved to June, the week of June 1st. We were going to do something with a bunch of our friends that are video game and wrestling related. We were going to spread this out to a week. We were going to start with some streams on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from other streamers that aren't necessarily involved with Wrestlethon, but they were going to stream, play wrestling games, and promote the Wrestlethon donation link to try to raise more for Child's Play charity so that we could come into the weekend where we were going to do the Wrestlethon event and start our weekend, like the main event of the event for like already a couple $1,000s up so that we could raise even more for the charity this year. Coronavirus and COVID-19 has made us make some changes. We still are looking at June, the first week of June, but I mean, we're also being very realistic about it. While there's only going to be about 10 of us on location at the comic shop, the idea was to have a lot of people in shop that were coming in the shop and spend time in the shop as well to try to draw more eyes and more viewers to the comic shop. In conversations with them, probably not going to happen. That's why we're being realistic. That's why we're having these conversations, and we're trying to be as very open about it on Twitter as possible. But like I said, again, I do appreciate you guys having us on here. If you are interested in Wrestlethon, Wrestlethon.com, Twitter.com/Wrestlethon. We're always updating. Myself and Drew are always trying to come up with new ideas just to have some fun during this time. He has a little bit more time than I do at the moment to tweet. So if you see a tweet, it's probably from Drew at the moment. But go get involved with the Twitter tournament that we're doing. And when we have definite answers on when Wrestlethon 2020 is going to happen, we'll let you guys know. It might be a fall event this year. It might just be a longer event that we plan for next year, but we'll keep people updated. So,
yeah. And we look forward to having you back here for our first episode of June. So that I think we're recording on May 31st. Great. So hopefully hopefully you'll be, have something, definitely concrete by then so that you can
absolutely
really talk it out.
Maybe by then we'll all be lucky and this is just a Democratic hoax.
that's
maybe we'll all figure out that 5G has been causing it.
Oh, right? Yeah, if you live in England, don't burn down the goddamn cell towers. Yeah. That's not what did this. No. How is that a thing?
Hey, and idiots, quit having coronavirus parties.
Right?
Yep.
Because if I ever see one
Jesus
of you,
fucking Christ.
I'm going to wait until you're clean, and then I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Just so you know.
You know, come in full hazmat suit and AA your ass.
I can bring a hockey stick. Those are 6 feet
There you
long.
go.
So
Go get a Zdeno Chara hockey stick and just start whacking.
there you go.
I totally did not hear that entire conversation, so therefore I can be, what's it, plausible deniability?
Sure, whatever that is. So next week is going to be In It to Win It. It's the season finale with he is my cousin-in-law.
Yes.
Chris Churchman. And he's
Another
also
hockey person.
Yeah, he's another hockey person. He plays on a amateur league for veterans who are, I can't remember. My brain's not working about the organization he works with to get veterans kids sports equipment.
I don't know the name
and my
of
brain
it.
is not working right now. I should have written it down in my notes, but I didn't. So
You'll have it next week.
Yeah, definitely have it next week. So
They live in New Orleans. Does that help?
They do. So that's what we've got now. So yeah, we're so In It to Win It next week, which really kind of goes into our outro song.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
We want the cup. We want the cup. We want the cup. We want the cup. Bruins, Lions, Caps, and Pens. Senators, Leafs, Canadians. Flames, Jets, and Canucks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of How Are You Now? We thank you for listening and sticking with us every week as we go through all of our episodes. We'd like to really thank our good buddy Jake Whitco and Wrestlethon for being on with us today. We want to give a huge shout out to our buddies over at Light the Lamp out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So they are out of Pennsylvania. You can find them on lightthelamp.bandcamp.com, on Facebook at Light the Lamp Band, Instagram Light the Lamp Band, and on Twitter at Light the Lamp PA. So, which stands for Pennsylvania, of course. So, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week as we get into In It to Win It. Take care now.
We want the cup.